Let's talk about something absolutely incredible that you're doing right this second, probably without even thinking about it. Understanding me.
Seriously, as you listen to my voice, your brain is pulling off this high-speed, ridiculously complex trick that, honestly, we all just take for granted every single day.
Just think about that for a second. The sound waves coming from me, hitting your ear, they are transformed into a complete understood idea inside your head in less than half a second. It's so fast, it's practically magic.
And that is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How does our brain take this jumbled stream of sound and turn it into coherent thoughts so unbelievably fast? Well, that's the mystery we're going to dive into.
You know, there's a whole field of science dedicated to solving this exact mystery. It's called psycholinguistics. And you can think of it as the detective work that investigates the amazing relationship between our minds and our language.
So what does that big definition really mean? Well, psycholinguistics isn't just about the rules of language. It's about how we actually use it in real life. All the mental gears turning when we speak, understand, and remember words.
Here's a great way to think about it. A linguist might be like a mechanic who can point to and name every single part of a car engine. But a psycholinguist? They want to know what happens when you press the gas. They want to know how that engine actually runs.
So where does this whole incredible process start? Well, it starts with storage. Let's take a look at how the thousands upon thousands of words you know are organized in what scientists call your mental lexicon, basically your brain's own personal dictionary.
And this brings up a really cool question. Is your brain's dictionary organized alphabetically, A to Z? Or is it more like a thesaurus, where words are grouped together by their meaning? So for example, when your brain looks up the word cat, is it filed right next to words that sound similar, like catch? Or is it filed next to words that are related in meaning, like dog? The research points to this amazing complex web, where both sound and meaning create these super strong connections. And it gets even more fascinating. Take a bigger word, like government. Does your brain store that as one big chunk? Or is it way more efficient, and it just stores the root govern and knows the rule for tacking on meant at the end? These are the exact kinds of clues psycholinguists hunt for.
Okay, so that's storage. But what about language and motion? This is where we get to the really high-speed assembly line that's constantly running in your head, turning thoughts into words and sounds back into meaning.
I mean, really, stop and think about this. You don't consciously break down the sounds k, a, and t to get the word cat. Your brain is so good at this, it often figures out what word I'm going to say just from the first couple of sounds, way before I've even finished saying it.
Now let's flip it around, because making language is just as wild. You have this little spark of an idea in your head, and then in a split second, your brain finds the right words, puts them in the right order, and builds a perfect grammatical sentence. How? This is one of those classic chicken or the egg debates in the field. Does your brain build a grammatical skeleton first and then slot the words into it? Or does it grab the important words it needs and then build a sentence around them? The answer seems to be some kind of lightning-fast dance between the two. Okay, let's get really specific. For a word like cat, your brain uses a simple rule. Add an S to make it cats. But what about children? There's no rule for that. One of the leading theories is that our brain actually does both. It has a rule system for all the regular words, but it just stores the weird exceptions, like children, as totally separate memorized items. So all these little questions, these tiny details, they're all part of a much bigger puzzle. Every one of them is a clue in this massive investigation to map out how our minds create and understand language.
And the whole field really zooms in on 5 key areas. First, you've got the actual real-time mechanics of it all. Second, how we store and then access that giant mental dictionary. Third is how we use our general knowledge about the world to figure out meaning. Fourth is the actual neuroscience, what's physically happening in the brain. And finally, studying what happens in exceptional cases, like with brain damage or impairments, which teaches us a ton about how the system is supposed to work.
But when you boil it all down, it comes to this incredibly powerful idea. Language isn't just something we do, it's a window. It is one of the best pieces of evidence we have for figuring out how the human mind itself is built and how we organize our very thoughts.
So, the next time you're talking or listening to someone, just take a half a second to think about the incredible behind-the-scenes detective work your brain is doing. Because the way you use words isn't just about communication, it's a direct reflection of that secret engine running inside your head.